Here we are in Notting Hill in West London to review Panasonic's latest LUMIX TZ camera, the TZ300. Let's go find out what it's all about. So before we get too in-depth with the TZ300, let's give you some top-line specs. So firstly, it has a 1-inch BSI sensor. It has 20.1 megapixels. It'll shoot 4K video, has 23 creative looks or presets, and finally, it has that crazy 24 to 360 zoom lens. So let's begin with the resolution of this camera, 20.1 megapixels, which I think is pretty much bang on for a sensor of this size. Like I always say, I'm always wary of cameras with smaller sensors and too much resolution, but I think that 20 megapixels is pretty much bang on the money considering the size of this camera, but also the fact that you might also be shooting in low light, which the less megapixels you have, the easier it's going to be to get quality images without too much noise. Which brings me on to the sensor. Now this one is a BSI sensor, or backside illuminated, which is, for me at least, it is a bit unusual for a camera of this size. Now, BSI sensors usually are very good for giving you good readout speed, but also for good low light gathering ability. So actually it makes complete sense for this to be in a 1-inch sensor, considering that these smaller sensors with the resolution amount can sometimes struggle to be very good in low light. So let's take a little bit of a closer look at this lens. You get a 3.3 to 6.4 variable aperture. Now that might not seem that great, but considering the insane zoom range on this lens, I think something has to be done to keep this camera svelte, small and portable. And the only way to achieve that is to have a variable aperture within that zoom range. Now the zoom range on this lens is actually an 8.8 to 132. Now in 35mm or full frame terms, that equates to 24 to 360, which is insane. That is one of the most insane zoom ranges that I've seen from what is effectively a compact camera. And it is awesome. The amount of reach that it gives you, it is incredible. Now, we've got the Trellick Tower behind us here, an iconic part of Notting Hill and Ladbroke Grove, and I'm giving you some textures just to show you how much of a range that is from wide all the way to zoomed in. Now, we didn't have IBIS specs for this camera, as in precisely how many stops of compensation that you're getting. It is, after all, a new camera, so all we can do is test it. Now, we're not going to be hugely unfair to the TZ300 and zoom it all the way into 360 and expect to get a lot of compensation. That's where the lens is kind of at its most zoomed in, and IBIS would have to work very hard. So we set the camera to 24mm, which is its widest, and I managed to get about half a second shutter speed, which is pretty impressive. Now I reckon, as I always say, you can probably get it down to a second with really steady hands and a bit of patience if you really wanted to get the shot. So I'll calculate that to be about 4.5 stops of compensation, which I think is pretty good. Don't forget that teamed with good ISO performance and that steady hand, I think you could very easily get a good exposure at nighttime. So let's talk a little bit about the autofocus system in the TZ300. So the first thing to mention is that this camera has a contrast detect system, not a phase detect. Now in terms of autofocus points, you get 49 autofocus points that are spread across the frame. Now you can activate all of those and have all of the 49 autofocus points working for you to actually try and achieve focus. But you also have other modes. You do have face and eye detect as well, and it actually works quite well in terms of detecting faces. Certainly if you're trying to take a portrait, rather than, for example, trying to take portraits in the street, it might get a bit confused then. But generally speaking, for taking a portrait of a person, it is quite good. It also has pinpoint AF, which is really, really good. You get a little X and you can just use the touchscreen at the back to basically choose your focus point, and then it actually gives you a bit of a enlarged and zoomed in image so you can really nail your focus. And then you get your single point AF, which you can move around the screen to basically customize where your focus point is going to be. So what about burst mode, I hear you asked on the TZ300? Well, it actually has two types of burst mode. So the first one is the kind of slightly more expected one, the one that you kind of expect to have on most cameras. So that one, when you're shooting on AF continuous, so autofocus continuous, which is using kind of all of the focus points, you get 6 frames a second. Whereas if you have AF single point or AFS, you actually get 10 frames a second. And obviously the difference is because you're getting a lot more computation with AFC than you are in AFS. However, there is another burst mode type in this camera, and it's called 4K burst. And effectively, I think what it's doing, it's using its video capabilities to get you a few more frames. So obviously the camera shoots 4K video in 30p, which it tops out at. So it's quite natural for the camera to then do this burst mode 4K 30. So it's using kind of some of the kind of video kind of algorithms, I guess, to give you a few more frames. However, because this camera does crop into the 1-inch sensor a little bit when shooting video, it is the same for the 4K burst. So let's talk a little bit about the video and vlogging capabilities of this camera. Now, obviously, because of the size, it has many competitors in the market that do vlog very, very well. And the Lumix really is no different in terms of the specs that it offers. So it'll do 4K 30p video. And it will also do slow motion in full HD at 100p and 120p, which is really, really good for pretty much all of your needs. Now, in terms of the handholdability and the function of this as a vlogging camera, it's fantastic. You can basically put a small tripod on here which you would hold and then extend for any vlogging that you want to do if you want to be locked off or if you want to be on the move. And as it has optical image stabilization, it is there to help you whilst you're moving as well. However, in terms of vlogging capabilities, even though it is totally doable to shoot this camera at, let's say, 24mm or even 35mm as you're walking, holding your kind of mini tripod, it doesn't have a flippable screen, and that can be tricky. Normally you would expect to have a flippable kind of upwards or even sideways so you can at least see your framing, which sadly you can't really do that with the Lumix. So it means that you really have to kind of guess roughly as to what your framing is going to be and set it at its widest on the zoom lens. So how does the TZ300 handle? Now, I think it's incredibly important to figure out whether a camera is comfortable for you to hold, especially with these modern compacts, which tend to cram a lot of functionality in a very small area, which can make them a bit more cumbersome and confusing. So I actually love the TZ300 in terms of how it's laid out. A lot of the buttons that you'll be using a lot of the time are actually on the outside. And there's some kind of multifunction buttons that you can obviously customize as well, like this scroll wheel here. It can be anything from ISO to shutter speed as well. It's got a lovely hand grip, which is slightly raised, so you can kind of keep it there if you want to. And it's nice that the wrist strap has a lugs on both sides depending on where you want to hold it. In terms of the lens, I love the aperture control here, so it isn't actually a dial. I love when an aperture control is right on the lens itself. I love that on the back of the camera, you do have a lot of the quick access menus as buttons effectively. So things like exposure compensation, your white balance, and your shooting modes, for example. Equally, you have your displays and even a custom button for your creative looks as well, which is all the rage at the moment, of course. And we can't forget this camera has an onboard flash, which is great. So many of you will remember that the TZ200 had an eye-level viewfinder, something that I personally really like just because of framing and even to combat the effects of glare on the rear LCD. However, the TZ300 does not have that viewfinder anymore. And I imagine Panasonic maybe did their market research and figured out that most of the buyers weren't really using it. And I guess it's a good way to make the camera a bit more robust and I guess to save money as well, or to bring the cost down as well. Other than that, I actually think that the build quality is fantastic. I think everything is made from aluminium and it does feel incredibly premium and something that I think could definitely take the knocks of long-term travel and something to use for your holidays. So we're nearly coming to the end of our time with the TZ300. So one of the things that we want to talk about really is who this camera is for. Now, a big indicator for me as to who this camera is for is that zoom range. 24 to 360 is gigantic. So for example, if you're going on your travels, especially if you're going for extended travels, or you want something reliable and compact to take with you on your travels, I really can't think of something as good as the TZ300, mainly because of that zoom range and what that provides and the flexibility that provides in allowing you not to take your big heavy equipment with you whilst still being able to take the shot that you need. But it is so incredibly well built. I mean, it looks like it's built from a solid bit of metal, and it feels like you can just chuck it in your bag, throw things on top of it, and nothing will ever go wrong with it. It really is one of the better designed and more robust looking compacts that I think I've seen. So just to conclude, I think this camera has two really good points to it. Firstly, it's the construction. I don't think I've ever seen a compact built this well. It is so well built and so robust. I feel completely at ease throwing it pretty much anywhere at all, knowing that it can take those knocks. And I think secondly, for me, it's that lens, the 24 to 360. Sorry, it's so weird having to say those big numbers because I almost can't believe that it's such a crazy zoom range. I think it's so helpful if you do want to go on your travels, you want to travel light, and you want to make sure that you have a zoom range that can support your artistic vision without having to bring a whole bunch of other lenses that are much heavier and more cumbersome. And lastly, even though it doesn't have an articulating screen for vlogging, in many ways it can also be seen as a positive, considering that there's nothing there to snag and pull at it and break it. So it means that if you do take it on your travels, it's going to be incredibly robust. Anyway, that's me, and that's a TZ300. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.